everyone, how are you all doing? Today I'm going to be taking a look finally at my custom Mezco, my own version of Batman, but also a more classic version, but also modern and updated, and just to overall just say it's my version of Batman. How I decided to make him with the parts that I had and the parts that I purchased. So, without further ado, let's get into this thing, because you guys have seen it in the Superman video / thumbnail. I believe I've showed it off in a couple other videos. I think I've even posted a couple pictures of it on Instagram, but I've actually been tweaking this thing for like maybe a year. And the only reason that has actually been the case is because originally, so as you can see, I do have the boots and the gauntlets from the, I almost wanted to say the Dark Knight Returns Batman, but that's, well, technically what it is, but you know, the Supreme Knight Batman, that's what the boots and the gauntlets are. I used that body as well, and I originally used the cowl piece as well, but his neck is way too thick to have a younger version of Batman's head on there, because it just made his neck look so beefy and it just did not work. So that was originally on there. I took that off. I put on the belt, which I also had from the Supreme Knight. I had that one on there originally that I painted gold because I think that one was silver. I don't like how that turned out. It wasn't great. So I used the gold belt and the hands and the neck cowl piece of the Ascending, right? Isn't that the first version of Batman that they made? I used both of those from that Batman, and I love how that looks. I also have put a couple times, if you watched my Mezco / Marvel Legends custom of Batman that I just made, my last video, that head, that original head, I did put that on here, and I actually like how that looks, but it doesn't go well with my Superman and Nightwing, which I will show off here soon. But it's not bad, you know. It's cool if I wanted to just do a couple of shots with like a young Jim Gordon and a younger Batman, but this, he's more techie looking. He's got, you know, the shorter ears. He's a little bit older. He's got this symbol, which is also, like I said, this is on that original body, so this is magnetized, but I also did, just because I wanted to make sure it was more stable, I did glue it, but it's still actually mobile. So it's glued to the suit, but not the actual body. And speaking of the suit, the trunks are from GPS Lot, and then the suit itself is from Seaford Charles. It's the gray suit option that they have. And the cape is also actually the wired cape from the Supreme Knight Batman as well. So there's quite a lot going on with this figure. And also, I don't know what it is right now. I don't know if it's the angle that we're at here, but this hand looks off. I can't tell why, but this hand looks off. But his hands do look a little small on this one. It's not that big of a deal to me, but it's really whenever you just kind of start looking at it too close that you're like, oh, hey, those hands can seem kind of small. Like if I bring in the Ascending or the Supreme Knight hands, you can see they are just a little bit beefier. But I also, since the Supreme Knight is bigger, I actually was not able to get the belt to sit on here all the way, so I actually had to glue it, and it actually doesn't hinder articulation at all, which is really nice. And also, whenever I was taking off the original suit, I did modify the torso so he actually can have more clearance to have more articulation. And none of the articulation, thankfully, is hindered or anything. You know, I didn't have to sacrifice anything to make this, which that's always the best thing when you make customs, that you don't have to sacrifice any sort of articulation from the original body or anything. And I also made this clearly because, you know, I used the Mezco body. Well, the Mezco body's not bad, but, you know, I probably, if I were to make it now, I'd probably use a V-Toys body. Which, speaking of V-Toys body, let's bring in the V-Toys / BMS Kingdom Come Superman to put them together in a side-by-side here. And this doesn't look bad at all. I actually like this because if I had made this on the V-Toys body for Batman, then he and Superman would be the same size. And that just doesn't work for me. You know, I think they don't need to be the same size. I think it worked for the DC UC line. I love the DC Universe Classics line. But for my own personal, you know, Mezco style versions, I like that it's different. And also, if I bring in the original Mezco Superman, well, I say original, but the one that just came out that I did modify, you can see that the broadness and then the height, obviously, the difference between the two, it's pretty good as well. I may try at some point to get a different set of boots or gauntlet, you know, like just, I may try and make another version of Batman because I'd like to have more streamlined boots at least. But especially because of the fact that I think that it would make him a lot shorter and would make him more in line with his supes. As is, though, it's not bad. And Batman being taller than Superman, it's how it was in the movies, you know? So it's not like it's too far off base. But in my mind's eye, I feel like Superman needs to be bigger and taller than Batman. But it doesn't have to be, you know? It's my own personal thing. So, and also Superman's generally going to be, you know, in flight and whatnot. So it's always something that's kind of hard to tell. And I am working on a Diana. I have the Mezco one, but I did, you know, I tore that thing apart so I can make a proper Mezco style, you know, a good 1/12 Diana. So we'll, you know, whenever I have that done, I will show you guys that, of course. But as a quick teaser, let's bring in my Nightwing that I had finished for a little bit, but I was working on for quite a while. And let's do that just so you can see the dynamic duo together. And I really like how this looks. This looks really good to me. This Nightwing has also went through some changes, but let's take him out of the way real quick so you guys don't get too much of a sneak peek, since that will probably be my next video. And speaking of Nightwing being my next video, if that Mezco custom doesn't end up being it, it's going to be the Mafex one, because that one is scheduled to come here in a couple days, and oh, I'm so excited for that figure. But yeah, I mean, there's really not much that I can say about this, you know? Whenever it comes to my customs, I just like to show off what I made and all that. And also, one thing I do want to talk about real quick, because it is something that I have been wanting to do for a while. It's not going to be all of my customs. It's going to be just ones here and there, or just figures that I want to part ways with. But I do have an eBay page. I have not put anything on it yet, but I am going to downsize my collection. And if anyone is interested in custom, you know, pieces that I will put up on there, or just stock figures, or, you know, accessories or whatnot, you know, and just general kind of stuff, you know, figure related things like that, I will be doing that here in the future, hopefully. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. I will make a full video on it, but I just wanted to let you guys know in advance so it's not just bam out of nowhere. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me, and I will catch you all in the next one. See ya.